The program will start officially momentarily. Let's do this.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
And I am Anthony Sid, and a pleasant welcome to Focus on Liberia on Kia Radio. If you are just joining in, we want to say it again, welcome and welcome. We have very, very hot topics to discuss. You heard James there telling you the topics that we'll be discussing today. I'm going to join James by saying hot on the menu is the eviction of CDC, that is the Congress for Democratic Change. CDC today was evicted. We saw the presence of the Liberian National Police executing that eviction at CDC headquarters. Our own reporter, Sir Augustine Biogeon, was there, and he captured it on camera. Sir, get ready to give us a brief summary of what you saw there during the time of your reporting when the eviction was going on. On the menu also, the Liberian government, I believe, is staying in Japan, where it is attending an expo. It's a business expo, by the way, and our government is highly, highly represented. The president is there, and a lot of senior government officials are attending this particular meeting or conference. Is the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development and an Expo 2025. We have questions. The delegations reportedly included 23 to 40 government officials, costing taxpayers thousands of dollars. Many Liberians have concerns. Is the total cost of the trade known or published for transparency? Many questions I have there. Also on the menu, we have the drug crisis in Liberia. The drug crisis in Liberia has reached a peak as it never happened before, and many, many people are concerned. We know President Mbaka and VP Jeremiah Kpankun had taken drug tests from the very early age of their administration, and later on, President Mbaka, announced an anti-drug action plan in August, this very August 2025, pledging no more impunity. But yet, people are worried. We want to also talk about government officials providing services that the Liberian government is also providing. For example, schools. We have Thomas Fala University. We have Prince Johnson University. We have healthcare centers, one owned by Vice President Jeremiah Kpankun. If you look at these services being provided by the officials of government and what the Liberian government is providing, we see a difference there. So we want to look at that. Then we want to look at committees. We have statutory agencies and ministries that are providing specific regulatory duties for the people of Liberia, but then a committee will be constituted to provide those same services. We want to look into that. The panelists has all set. The man who is going to co-captain this discussion with me is Manko Palmo, joining me from the great state of Minnesota. Mr. Palmo, welcome. How you doing, sir?
I am doing well. You can hear me okay?
Yeah, You are live.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Welcome, welcome Monrovia. Welcome Liberia. We're glad to be with you. I'm glad to be here, and it looks like it's going to be an exciting show. Thank you so much, Anthony.
All right. The new progressive commentator of Focus on Liberia is Dr. Clarence Pearson. Dr. Pearson, it's good to have you. We are on the radio. Talk to your fellow Liberians, my friend. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Anthony. It's a pleasure being on the radio this morning, Mr. Palmer. It's a pleasure being on the radio with you and my fellow panelists on the set. I want to say hi to the people of Liberia. I know our country is tense this morning, this afternoon, but again, this is Liberia. This is all we have, and the peace and stability of our country is of utmost importance to us. And let us work towards that peace and maintaining it. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Jimmy Eastman joins us from the nation's capital. Jimmy, how you doing?
Hey, Anthony, thank you for this invitation. A lot of things are developing in our beloved country, and we need to discuss it. So at least the people are informed. I'm glad to be here.
All right. And then we have the producer of this edition of Focus on Liberia live on KR Radio, the man James. James, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, and thank you for the warm welcome. And I'd like to say good afternoon to all of our panelists and discussants onto this edition. It's good to be here, and I look forward to a wonderful discussion or talk show.
All right. Augustine Sa is a reporter of Focus on Liberia who was at the CDC headquarters when the eviction was being executed by the Liberian National Police. Sa is here with us. Sa, can you unmute? Welcome. How you doing? Sa seems not to be here. I don't know why he's connected here, but we are not getting him. But James, I will come to you. You are a reporter there in Liberia. I'm sure you might have followed the eviction exercise. Okay, Sa, are you there? Sa, are you with us?
Thank you so much. I'm fine. Let me say good afternoon to all of our great panelists.
Thank you, sir. I can't welcome you enough. We want you to. We were at the CDC headquarters when the Liberian National Police. Oh, he just dropped off there. Okay, he seems to be here. I can see him stay connected. So I want you to report for us what you saw during the time of the evasion at the CDC headquarters, as briefly as you can, sir. So you seems to be muted. Can we hear you? All right. While he's making adjustment, James, I believe you might have followed as a reporter of KR Radio. What did you see? What did you hear? And what do you know as to the eviction that took place at the CDC headquarters today?
Yeah. So from what I've followed and what I have gathered from the eviction since this morning, police officers are gathered at the headquarters of CDC and to execute the orders of the 6th Judicial Court that issue a writ of possession. And then you remember that the ruling was the issue of ruling rather, and then it was in favor of the Benas family. And that ruling, they asked the sheriff to go and asked the CDC to be out to be removed from the property, and that was done in collaboration with the Liberia National Police. And the police officers gathered there this morning, and then they carried their excavators to destroy or break down the buildings and the structures there, especially the Sycamore tree that most people reference when it comes to CDC. And there was not much resistance from seditions as people would expect, because prior to this eviction today, yesterday, the police issued a statement. Then so many seditions came online, and then they had podcasts or Facebook Live stating that they were going to resist the police eviction. But then this morning, when reporters gathered there, we did not see any fierce resistance from seditions. The only thing we saw was the excavator destroying the different structures that are in the compound of the CDC headquarters. And among other things that were discovered, the police said they discovered some arms, that were in one of the houses that is in the compound. Like I think I saw something like a single barrel gun in a pistol. That's what I saw in the pictures. And then yeah, so far so good. But then two other police officers on the side of the event, two other police officers tried to steal or take all of belongings that were in the among the things that were taken from the building. So for example, we saw them putting, I think, something like a wig, the ladies' wig into their police jacket. They were caught on camera, and then the police issued a statement that they have been disrupted and they are under investigation through the Professional Standard Division of the LMP. And I think we are expected to hear from them concerning that particular case. But so far so good. Citizens are just saying that they have accepted the outcome of this particular case. Finally, I can say, and that they are looking forward now to building a new structure or building their own party headquarters where they do not have to go through court cases or they do not have to be removed from there.
Jane, from what you follow and explain, I gather from you that even the sycamore tree was knocked down. What was this order from the court, an eviction order? Did it include anything like demolition should be executed as well? Because I'm gathering from you that something like that happened.
Yeah, so the court issued a writ that that they should be evicted from the property. So but when they first issued that writ, the CDC said they were not going to move because they believe in their mind they took an appeal. That's what it said, and they even showed for a document. So I think the demolition of the place was based on, I think, some of the things that were contained in the ruling. I did not get to see the full ruling of the judicial court, the sixth judicial court, but I think as part of the things that was contained in that, I don't want to preempt for what is there, but I don't want to believe that the police will act on their own mandate, because if you read the press statement from the police, they were acting on the orders of the court, and they were assisting the sheriffs because the court asked the sheriff to carry out the eviction along with the police, with assistance from the police. So I want to believe that they were acting on orders of the court or the ruling issued by the court.
Michael, let's talk about
I have Sa on
the line.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So Sa, could you go ahead and unmute? You are
Yeah.
live. You are live here. You are interacting with us and Mr. Sia. So Mr. Sia, go ahead.
Yeah, Saad, as a reporter of Focus on Liberia, you were at the CDC headquarters, to put it right, and you captured it all on camera. Can you tell us what you saw during the eviction exercise?
Thank you so much for allowing me to join you people this afternoon. So let me just get a bit of background of this entire eviction process. Again, we recorded on November 7, 2011, for the first time when CDC were in opposition. That was the former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf regime. CDC were massively invaded, and casualty of course at that particular scene, leaving 2 persons dead. From that process, the CDC began to hold the grounds of a party headquarters so sacred and historical. Today seems different. This morning was just extraordinary. Though many Liberians have different thinking when it comes to the invasion process of CDC that stopped traffic for about 3 to 4 hours in central Monrovia. Vehicles were diverted from different angles, ranging from the old road end to from old road, Cali Junction, and coming to Monrovia. It put fear in many Liberians because CDC, to remove them from the party headquarters, you have to go into a talk show. But today was quite different. The police descended on the CDC's party headquarters early this morning by 5 a.m. Surprisingly, the police used a joint security method comprises of the Liberia Immigration Service, the Liberia Fire Service, the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, the Emergency Response Unit, and the Police Support Unit. That bring them up to somehow 50 to 60 in numbers to invade the CDC headquarters. So upon their arrival, the entire headquarters was already empty. Citizens flew away, and they waited alone for the court sheriff to arrive. The paper was served to nobody. Evasion processes served the evasion notice to the property owner that will be on scene and let him watch the process while carrying on evasion. If he wanted to take some of his property out, allow him to do so, but absolutely not. The sheriff and the police go on and they carry on the evasion exercise. So why carry on the evasion exercise? The CDC have 3 major structures in the party headquarters. One is the Munatech vocational training school that was built around 2023, 2024 for citizens and other Liberians to be elevated vocationally. And that school have one batch of graduates just before they could be demolished. And the school was named in honor of Mona Youngblood, former representative of District 9, Morrado County. She was a strong supporter of the CDC and also a executive. Upon her passing, for the CDC to remember her and her work she do in the CDC, they decided to build the Munatech Vocational School right on the party headquarters. Next was the building that hosts the Pistolo Conference Room. Like I said, 2011, when the now police 102 nursing female shot and killed Papi Solo in the CDC headquarters, the citizens at that time woke up and built a structure and named a conference room in memory of the Papi Solo that was shot dead in the premises of the party headquarters. That press conference room has been there for several years and they've been using it. And in that building, you have the offices of their political leader, which is former President George Manuel Weah, the Secretary General Jefferson Tamakoji, and their political chairman, Janga Ko, along with the National Youth League office situated right in the building next to Munatech. Behind the Munatech building is where the Secretary General built for himself. Right after the general election, when he got defeated, he decided to live in the party headquarters, to be around partisans, to engage with partisans all of the time and provide the necessary needs for his partisans. Before he would leave Europe for study. So these 3 buildings were brought down by the excavator this morning, but interestingly, while the police were carrying on their evasion exercise in the house believed to be for the Secretary General Jefferson Tamakoji, there were 2 rifles, 2 long rifles, one in a form of sniper and one like a Winchester weapon. We asked the police, but they refused to give us the name of these weapons. But if you see it, you will know that these are high gun used by special security operations. So the police took away these 2 rifles and 38 box of gunshot. Half of it, at least half of it were used and remaining half were found in the box. And furthermore, they found a 38 pistol with some grass seed. People believe that behind the CDC building, there are several young people carry on drugs habits behind the CDC. Remember, in 2023 of August, the same day, August, the LD and the police decided to carry on a raid of drugs behind the CDC, and that caused serious problem in Congo Town too as well. citizens resisted the LDA movement that particular day. They term it as political because they believe that that is their party headquarters. Nobody have right to raid drugs from the party headquarters. And today, Facebook bring back that memory when the evasion process were ongoing. Many media outlets begin to share it. So while the process was ongoing, their famous Sycamore tree, citizens have that belief during the election, 2023 election, when they called the result. I can remember we were at the party headquarters providing coverage. The Sycamore tree broke half. That shows signal that CDC had lost the election. And the party executive, like the Secretary General Koshi, woke up that particular night, stood for about 45 minutes observing the Sycamore tree when it broke half. And the entire place got quiet. It shows since that CDC had lost the general and presidential election. He said that this is our son, this is what we believe in, this is our Sycamore tree that shows signals whenever bad things is about to happen to our party. Today, the Sycamore tree was brought down to zero. And everything was broken around the Sycamore tree. Then, while the evasion process were ongoing, officers from the Liberia National Police were caught on live camera looting. This is a natural practice in our country. Whenever evasion is ongoing, the sheriff, the police officers will be seen with big bags on their back, carrying with them. Each room they enter, whatever values they found carrying on their evasion process will be placed in their bags. But today, these officers were caught on camera live because these are actions they carry on. I remember around the Stoughton Creek area when the sheriff went to evade, some of them carry big bag. People were crying for their money, people were crying for their properties, some people phones, some people laptops were all stolen in the evasion process. And today it was showing live on camera by members of the Liberia National Police. Right after the looting process, the police, 1 or 2 men or nursing female spoke. They disrupt them and send them to professional standard division for further investigation. If they will be found guilty, they will be disrupted and they will be dismissed from that job. They will leave the police again and then placed behind bar according to the police 102. With all that, several citizens were seen on the main road trying to pull out some kind of violation on the police, where some were expressing dissatisfaction in their party executive, especially the former president say he failed them. For 20 years, CDC have been at Congo Town doing everything, in the opposition days, 6 years as a ruling establishment, a ruling party, 6 years again. They're less than 2 years in opposition. They couldn't bad for themselves or party headquarters. They couldn't relocate. The land been into a series of confrontation from one court to another, from this court to another, from this family, from the Benin family to the Dempster family. These are how the case been going to and fro. And CDC been witnessing all of these actions, but there were no actions taken to buy a property where they will live until after this evasion process today. The former president took on his WhatsApp status and said that they should leave the party headquarters with the police. Let them take whatever they want. They should focus on erecting their new party headquarters. So from that, we can safely say in the next 2 to 3 months from now, CDC will begin the building of a new party headquarters.
And Saad, thanks for the excellent report in that. You were very comprehensive. Have you heard anything from the CDC? Has there been any official statement from the CDC saying this evasion exercise was executed by the Liberia National Police, the code, and other security apparatus that you mentioned? Has there been any statement from the CDC, or have you heard anything that there will be a statement from them?
So the chairman did a press release documenting the Liberia National Police, and he said in a press release that the actions carried on by the police were triggered by the executive, and he believes that it was an executive play in the evasion process. It was unlawful, and the actions carried on by the police will be documented and sent to the American embassy and other international partners. They believe that the process was still in court, and it was not time for them to be invaded. In fact, they were not even informed of the invasion process. And also, the National Youth League reject claims of the police finding arms in their premises in the party headquarters. Again, be recalled, the police were seen on live camera discovering the arm in the Secretary General house. But unfortunately, which disappoint everybody, and every serious minded Liberian discussing about it, is how the police possess the arm with their bare hands. Some Liberians are saying this could contaminate the entire investigation. In fact, because a police officer who believed that these arms were discovered in a politician house while carrying on evasion should protect himself from something called the forensic investigation. So probably if there will be some kind of investigation that will test the fingerprint of these guns to see who possessed it or who it belongs to, the police officer might be vindicated in the process. He might be the one having the gun, because his bare hands were seen touching all of the weapons, including the gunshot, including the grass that were found at the party headquarters. The LD officers were using their bare hands to hold all of these substances, which were.
So when you say grass, what are you talking about? What is grass?
These are drugs. The DEA said people smoke them. They have them like a cigarette. Some people say they smoke.
When you say grass, are you talking about opium, or does that include any
opinion?
other?
Opinion. You know, I'm not too familiar with it, but it's an opinion.
No, opium, not opinion, but opium. All right. All right, that is Augustine Sada. He is focused on Liberia reporter, giving us what happened today at the CDC headquarters, interspersing it with a little bit of history. Great job there, sir. Thank you for that brilliant and excellent reporting. We will now welcome Warner Konyanen Freeman, who is a panelist here at Focus on Liberia. He's a legal mind. He has a lot of minds. You know, he's a financial mind, he's a legal mind, he's an economic mind. But today he's wearing all the hats today. Anthony Freeman, there was an eviction carried on today by the Liberia National Police, and I'm sure also along with the court. What do we need to know about eviction process? Because during the eviction process, we saw demolition and all taking place. So walk us through. What is the legal way it must be done?
Well, if there is a order for eviction, normally it will be done by the sheriffs from the courts.
Okay.
But if there is a potential for violence, then the court will invite the police in, or probably work with the Ministry of Justice, and the Ministry of Justice will bring the police to make sure that they contain or prevent any violence. So given the contested nature of this case and the threat of resistance from the CDC, it was understandable that the police were brought in. Evasion notice it's not a demolition notice, as you can see. It's something totally different. It's just say remove this person and turn the property over to the rightful owners. So there is nothing else in that order other than remove the individual that is there and put the right person in possession of the property. If the person is in possession of the property, they can decide to demolish structure and stuff like that, but it's not the role of the sheriff nor the role of the police to demolish any structure.
But we're not sure whether this was, Dr. Sawyer would say, concomitantly done. That, well, since we're taking possession of the property, let's get a contractor who will carry on the demolition exercise. Is this likely the case here? Is it legally doable?
It's mostly the person who owns the property. They can decide they want to do it at the initial stage. They could decide they want to do it 1 week later or 1 month later or whatever time. So if the decision to demolish is made by the property owner, then that's not a problem. And they can choose to make that property. Normally, what we see from experience in this contested thing is that the animosity has built up so much that the owner comes in with demolition structure. Immediately upon the property being turned over to them, they start to demolish. So it is not unusual. It is not political in my view, because we see it whenever the property is hotly contested, the owner is going in with a demolition crew. So the instant the property is turned over, he goes about demolishing whatever he feels was illegally put up on his property. It's very typical in contested property cases.
So in that case, Attorney Freeman, the property belonging to CDC, what happened to that property? What happened?
Which property belongs to CDC?
I'm talking about their personal items. We saw
mattresses. No. I mean, because they will have given them chance to take out personal property.
Was that the case here? Did they serve them notice and giving a timeline to remove their personal?
It's combined.
Okay.
It's combined. Okay. Get out of the property means get out with your personal property. The order to get out does not allow you to leave your personal property there and go.
Okay.
You have to get out physically in addition to your personal property. There is no different court order that is necessary for you to remove your personal property. There's no extra court order for that. The order to evict, you have to move with your personal property. So if they get there, they can decide to remove whatever that they feel it doesn't belong or shouldn't be on their property. So CDC cannot leave and then leave their office chairs and this and that there. The people will trash them.
All right. So during the exercise, the Liberia National Police officers, some of whom were there, all right, were caught on camera taking some things and putting it in their backpack. Here is the video. Let's watch it, and then I will allow you to come. So, Anthony Freeman, you saw the two police officers there. One of them pick up some things that look like weed. That's the hair that the ladies can use. That's what I think I saw. I could be wrong. And he shares some with his fellow police officer there, and he tried to insert it in his bag, and then he realized that they were on camera.
They were camera.
Yeah, and so he tried to drop it, and so in this case, what happened? I mean, is that
that's police misconduct? Okay. Separate police misconduct from the order of the court to vacate the property.
Okay.
So if the police go in and misbehaves, I guess they have the police code of conduct that will penalize them. But when you are told to leave a property, you are supposed to leave with your personal effects.
Okay.
Now, how the police go about dealing with personal effects is quite another matter. Sometimes what we see, the court will bundle all of those things up and take it to the court, in a sense, for the people to pick it up. We see that sometimes. Or they could put it outside of the property, and if they want, they can come and pick it up. That's another way. But I don't think the police is proper conduct for them to start to take those properties away.
Thank you. Michael, you are a little familiar with eviction notices and the execution thereof. What you saw today, was it done properly in your opinion? What's your take?
Well, there were several concerns. First thing was the timing. I think it started around like 5. Like why the court doesn't operate at that time. This is not an arrest, it's an eviction. So you go during daylight hours, where when you are knocking on people's door, you expect them to be up, and when you're putting the things outside, you expect it to be visible. So the timing when it went in the darkness for me was concerning. That was the first thing. The second thing was people who they met there. I think there were 3 gentlemen were taken into custody. I'm not sure why, whether, because if you're evicting them, you're asking them to leave unless they resist. Then you can have them arrested for resisting a court order or a lawful order. But other than that, I don't know why. I was also concerned about the demolition. I assumed when I first saw it that maybe the owner had paid for demolition and had told the company or the individual with the yellow machine, say, look, when the police go in, as soon as they secure the property, immediately while they are still there and we still have protection under them, go ahead and start demolishing. But then on camera, I watched police officers, the small makeshift structures. I watched police officers demolishing the small makeshift structures, kicking it down and stuff like that. That's why I'm like, oh, so now the police is part of the demolition? Up to now, nobody has been able to dispute the fact that the police were the one in control of the demolition, which was not part of the order. The order was to assist the court officers. And there's nowhere in the order they told the court officers, once you take possession of the property, demolish it immediately. That is the job, that is the responsibility of the owner, what he wants to do with his property, not the court. So that really concerned me. That concerned me a lot. I was definitely surprised that there was no, besides somebody lighting a bonfire at the gate, there was no resistance. I breathed a sigh of relief. And you know something? A lot of people might not see it this way, but I would prefer to give a hand to CDC. Everybody expected CDC to act a certain way, to put up resistance, start throwing stones, start fighting the police. But there was nothing. Even the people that were met in the compound, they didn't put up any resistance. I'm hoping it's a sign of maturity and it's a sign of turning the corner. But we will know in the coming days exactly what it was.
Thank you. Dr. Pearson and Jimmy, I'll get to you. Let me get back to the legal mind for clarity. Anthony Freeman, Michael mentioned the time, 5 a.m. Is that legal, the timing of the eviction exercise? And he also observed that the police were more like involved with the demolition exercise. Can the police be part of it?
Well, let me ask you, What time are you allowed to go on your property?
Anytime.
As a property owner?
Yeah, what time are you allowed to go there?
Anytime that I wish.
That's it.
The police, that's not the police property.
But the property is already, the instant the court ruling came down, the property ceased to be the property of CDC. It is now the property of, I don't know who the owner is, the Bernard family, right? Whatever. So there is no time frame to go on your own property. So you can call the police and say, I want to go on my property 12 a.m. Or I want to go on my property 9 a.m. Well, whose business is it? It's nobody's business. And the police is only there to facilitate your possession of your property. I mean, and mind you, let me tell you something. There is a difference in terms of police tactics. There's a difference when the property is uncontested. And there's a difference when there is a lot of contestation over this property. The police are going to go there at a time when they expect the least resistance. So I don't see it to be unusual. There's no time frame for somebody to go on their own property. And also, too, like I told you, this is not normal, just restricted to CDC. I don't see it to be political. Most of the time, when two persons are locked in a long battle over a property, when the property is finally decided who property it is, normally that person moves on that property with a bulldozer 1 second after the ruling.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Dispossess the other person.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarity. The neo-progressive commentator, Dr. Clarence Pearson, we cannot rule out the political nature of this. We heard from the legal mind. Is there any reason to say there was some political motivation with the contestation of this place, and given the history of the Unity Party and CDC as two political rivals, or this is purely legal?
Thank you, Anthony. You know, there's one thing to say that there's a legality around eviction, but it's another thing to look at the wisdom behind how you execute whatever court order with the sensitivity of the country as we have it coming out of a post-conflict situation, being a very fragile environment. I'm totally disappointed in what I see. I think it was an unnecessary risk of our peace. I think it was a total disregard for our history, our current history. And you ask about the political nature of the matter, and I would draw enough for instance. It is easy to see the politicization of the situation when you look at the remarks and the statements that came from party officials of the Unity Party who is in power right now. Whether it's the Mo Ali, the Daniel Sano, the Jeremy Pierre, the Eugene Wagon, it's easy to see. Even doing functionaries of government information ministry, Daniel Sano sits up there and make provocative statements against a former ruling party. I think that is reckless. Now, let's take another step forward. Look, let me say this. It is not strange for us to look back in our history and find out that when the African Americans who bought Ducal Hill, it's in our history that they bought it at the barrel of the gun, right? And they put Long Peter and had to get all kind of names and forgot their traditional names and getting all type of names, King Peter and whoever else, and took Ducal Hill to they would call him Monrovia from these people to form a colony that would become Liberia later on. And that history is there. It's not erased. We have a history where in April 12, 1980, Willie Tubber opened his presidential suite at his Executive Mansion and allowed in-commissioned officers who he believed at the time were carrying on some insurrection. And he was gunned down in front of his family. We have a history where 10 days later, April 22nd, 13 men were dragged on the beach behind BDC and killed in cold blood on a trumped-up charges in a kangaroo court. We have a history, 1989, December, where Liberia was invaded by the NPFL. 250 plus people, 1,000 people lost their lives. And all of these things that I'm listing here, President Bouakai was present to see these things happen. He saw how these things dragged the country into the mud. He saw how it devastated our nation. He's speaking reconciliation. He's speaking national healing. We're talking about putting the pieces back together. Am I saying that we cannot execute a court order, a lawful court order? No. Yes, we can execute a lawful court order. Let me give you an instant of what I'm saying here. I hear Anthony Freeman saying anybody can go to the house anytime they want to go to the house. This is just not an ordinary house. This is a politically charged environment. This is an opportunity for chaos. This is an opportunity for someone to use the situation and cause chaos in the country, and then we'll go back to square one, and then we'll come back and say we're calling religious leaders, we're calling ECOWAS, we're calling AU, we're calling EU, and at the end of the day, we'll go back to a peace table, and we'll still talk the same talk we would have talked from the very beginning of the crisis. That's what we're talking about, Mr. C. It bothers me for President Bouakai, who sits in Liberia since Tuckman time, Turbo time, Dole time, Taylor time, and saw the crisis that we went through. What would it cost the CDC?
Dr. Pearson, if I can follow up, you still have the floor here. Don't we all advocate for the enforcement of our laws? I know you are a firm believer that if only we enforce our law, all right, without fear and favor, then we will be getting somewhere. You mentioned some officials of the Unity Party who talk to other social media, indicating that this will be done. Somebody might say that, look, these are officials who want to see enforcement of the law. And now you see it differently. You don't want the laws to be enforced?
So, let me see, when you're discussing these things with political undertone, you have to be aware of the political environment. Okay. Wasn't the same President Bouakai in power when 10 new laws were violated and the Supreme Court ruled? He said he respected the Supreme Court and still violated the 10 new law? Wasn't the same President Bouakai in power when there was conflict at the House of Representatives and the Supreme Court ruled his justice minister misrepresented the Supreme Court? The national police went there and brutalized politicians, brutalized representatives, and brutalized the Liberian people representations at the House of Representatives, and supported the formulation of a budget behind closed doors with armed men. And the very budget had to be, they went back to ratify it to consider it not to be illegal later on. Wasn't this the same President Bouakai? Wasn't this the same national police? Wasn't it the same President Bouakai administration that when a civil case was at the court for labor with Judy Andy, who a security advisor took the phone and called court official to throw the case out? Wasn't this the same President Bouakai? Wasn't the same President Bouakai under whom Prophet Key went and violated the elections law and used what they call allegedly use a false identity to register to run in a political campaign, and then he was taken to answer for those things and went under the carpet? They didn't the same political guys took phone and call? Wasn't there the same Liberian National Police that Fatika, who was found guilty?
I don't get the point. What is the man saying? That we should continue the lawlessness? I mean, I don't get the point.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there has to be that.
There's a good order.
Where your peace going in? Let protect the brother.
Look, Mr. Freeman, let me say this. There's nothing stopping our government officials and law enforcement to use their discretion. It is a political charge situation. This is the same thing that happened at the RIA when President Weah was returning from abroad, and AFL was misapplied. That's what we're saying. AFL was misapplied. They were misdeployed, and AFL had to take actions against their own personnel. These things are politically motivated. It has the propensity to cause chaos in our country. Let me remind us. some of the things that we do today does not haunt us immediately. It comes back to haunt us as a nation over time.
Thank you.
We don't want this. No, it's not good for our country.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Pearson. Let me come to Jimmy Eastman, the man who is joining us from the nation's capital. When we say nation, we're talking about the United States of America. He from the city of politics. Jimmy, you have listened to your colleagues and our reporter and our producer here at Akia Radio. They narrated quite succinctly what happened today at the CDC headquarters. What are your takeaway from this? Is this government now trying to enforce the law as they should? Is there any political? What's your observation of all this?
Thank you. Well, as Pearson was pointing out just now, there are political and legal implications of this whole episode. Okay, so the eviction was grounded in a court order, which is legal, which must be enforced, as Councillor Freeman says. But I'm understanding that there are appeals pending. So this raises concern of overreach. If we still have appeals in the court, how come an eviction was carried out? Okay. And as for the political element of this whole thing, we can clearly see this weakens CDC's organizational strength. You know, it risks. And
but the appeal has not been granted, though. I know you're in speech. Has the appeal been granted? Has there been?
No, but it's in the process. They have to give a final verdict.
So until it's granted,
we have a legal luminary. Yeah, he can expound more on it. Well, my understanding is once an appeal, I mean, it's not final yet. The verdict is not final. Once there is an appeal pending, you have to wait until that appeal is dismissed or whatever adjudicated.
So Jimmy, hold your thought there. Let the legal mind clarify that. So Jimmy is saying CDC filed an appeal. I'm not sure if the court has heard that appeal in the absence of a hearing and maybe an order from the court to say, hey, do not proceed. The new occupant now can do anything. Is that correct?
I don't know which court issued the court order.
I think it's criminal code C. I think.
Civil it won't be criminal code if it's
no
civil.
Yeah,
Sixth Judicial Circuit Court.
Yeah, the Sixth Judicial Circuit Court. Thank you, Dr. Pearson. Go ahead.
So here's the thing. If, for example, the case ends and you make an appeal within the time frame and all of that, and it goes to the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court will normally issue a stay order. If a case ends and you don't make an appeal within the time frame, then obviously the judgment of the court will be enforced. So I want to believe if there were an appeal under the law, the Supreme Court will have issued a stay of judgment. That the Supreme Court have not issued a stay of judgment, the lower court is free to go about enforcing the ruling. So at this point, only the Supreme Court can issue a stay order. If the Supreme Court does not, then that's it. The ruling has to be enforced. And look, let me tell you something. I'm not no friend of Bwaka or UP, as you all know. But in the process of enforcing law, people are going to suffer. It's like Liberian people want to fight corruption, but they don't want any big politician to get arrested or jail. You want to fight, lawlessness, but you don't want people to break down property and remove people. Obviously, I mean, I don't get it. The CDC, having spent millions and millions of dollars building personal properties and all of that, neglected to build their own party structure. And then in the final analysis, when the law wants to take its course, then we say, oh, it's political. No, it's not political. It's legal first. So we must know that in the enforcement of law, there are going to be casualties for the lawbreakers. That is normal, that is expected, and that should be welcome, because you have to set example so that other people will know and follow the example. So I support, in fact, I think the demolition is delayed. The moment the property was decided, the demolition crew should have been standing right to the gate to damage and remove every unlawful property on the people property. That's what should have been done. So I don't have any sympathy whatsoever. It is not political. Yeah.
So in order for any demolition contractor to carry on any demolition, they must have the owner must have gotten that.
There's the owner. It's the owner,
yeah,
not the police.
Let me end my thought. So
yeah,
you can say that the order has been received, except where you want to tell me what it was anticipated that the owner has been informed, given prior notice that look, we're going to give you the order, so get ready.
I'm telling you. The normal thing is that, especially over contested property, I'm not saying any regular thing, I'm saying heavily contested property. When you go to court, when the case is going your way, you have that momentum on your side. You know that you're going to win.
Okay.
So you have your people on the standby with the wrecking crew, because you have warned these people to leave your property and they refuse. Your people are on the
question for the councilor.
So your people are on the standby. The moment the court rule for you, you call your demolition crew. You clear those people.
As soon as the judge now the gavel down,
bang,
you have the legal right to do anything.
But what time are you supposed to go on your property? Why the bosses?
Michael, go ahead with your question.
So because I'm getting confused here, okay? Because the judge knocked his gavel down, and the judge did not immediately inform the owner to go get your property. Instead, the judge informed the court officer to take seize of the property, not the owner. Okay, and then the judge asked the police to assist the court officers to take seize of the property. Now, let me ask you, because you said 1 minute after the judge knocked the gavel down, the men will go and break the place. Are you telling me that before the court officers go in to evict whoever is there, that the owner has the right to go there and start breaking building?
No. That was just point intended. That was just point intended.
And let me add to that. In this case, no notice will be required to be sent to the person who is contesting. In this case, CDC will not have to be notified.
That is just point intended, right? But the point I'm making is that you don't need extra time, extra formality. Once the court grants you the order and you can get the court or the court officers, right? The court officer can leave from the court. They don't have to wait for tomorrow morning. If you give it to them at 10 a.m., they can leave at 11 a.m. and go to put you in possession of the property, right?
Yes.
And your demolition crew can come at 12 a.m. or 11:15 to clear people from there, right?
When the eviction process is complete. And the court
whatever I'm saying, the eviction could be complete in 10 minutes.
Completed. That's the point I'm trying to make. They were still in the process of evicting the people, and demolition started. And you telling me
the point I'm making? Look, I don't want to get down to the details. I'm just saying it was point intended, right? But the bottom line is, when you have a property, there is no time frame as to what time you want to go on your own property. So as long as you do it in a lawful manner with the court officers and the police and all of that, you don't have to be sympathetic to the people who were breaking the law. That's the point. And look, let's the guys stop politicizing this matter. Okay? For you to make Liberia correct, a lot of people gotta go to jail. A lot of people who built in the alley, their house have to be broken down. So it's the same thing. If you are in unlawful possession of another person's property, you are supposed to be removed without any sympathy.
Thank you. Thank you. Jimmy, you were in flight. I felt that we needed legal clarity on the point you were exploring on. And so I come back to you, Jimmy. Let's bring it to a close. We have very other important topics to go into. And so I'm going to go around the room.
I think
what should be done now? Now CDC has been evicted. The property is being demolished. Those ones that the bill, I don't know, everything being demolished completely, even including the sycamore tree. CDC remains peaceful at this time. Their president, not their president, or their leader, political leader, former President Weah, said that he indicated that they will build a new headquarters. Jimmy, what is best for the CDC at this time? And does they in any way, looking at it politically, is it a giving to the CDC? Does it give the CDC any sympathy? Does it make the Unity Party to look better as a party that is enforcing the law? Or does it make the Unity Party to look bad? How you see it?
All your questions you are asking is why I don't understand why Councilor Freeman said, let's remove the political implications. There are a lot of political implications of this. And of course, I led off with saying the eviction is grounded in a court order.
Right.
Okay. But there are pending concerns over overreach because there is a appeal going on. Secondly, this weakens the CDC organizational strength. And this can be seen by outsiders and political watchdogs as oppressive. This can also be looked at as an oppressive step taken against one of the main opposition political parties. Okay, so if that is the case, then there are challenges around political pluralism. In other words, do we really have fair competition in the country? Do we really have judicial integrity? Because if you weaponize in the court in this way to bring to disarray another political party, this challenges our judicial integrity and whether we really have fair competition.
Fair point. You mean, does it energize the CDC? Does it weaken the CDC? Does it put the CDC, give it any political sympathy? Does it make the Unity Party look strong? Or does it make the Unity Party look bad politically?
No, I said it weakens them. And it all depends on how the CDC rebounds from this. I think this property issue, as much as it's raised concerns, it is still up to the CDC to regroup based on their own merits and carry on. But as we can clearly see, that this eviction is almost complete. Okay.
Thank you.
So, but there are some security issues also, serious safety issues, because an investigation must follow this, and that investigation has to be transparent so we can show that things were done in the right way.
Michael,
I think that's very important here.
Michael, what can a CDC do now? What should be the best response, in your opinion, that the CDC can carry on right now?
This is what I would say. Do you know how powerful it will be if CDC is able to acquire a land and put a structure on it within 12 months? That will be a powerful sign they will be sending forward. 12 months.
Why 12 months? Why not even in 2 months?
Come on now. You need time to do the foundation and for the cement to dry before you start carrying the wall up. So I'm just giving it. Okay, let's say next year before the rainy season starts.
You want to say in America, if you don't pass on this highway in 2 weeks, the next month you show up, you see a structure already there. It's
Well,
doable.
that's true. Right? You know, America on how it is. But you know, like, let's say through the draft season. So let's say by now I'm getting up to next year this time. But it could be April next year. But you know how powerful that message will be if they can own their own structure, own their own land in 6 months or 8 months and say, okay, yeah, we here now. I mean, somebody said to me, they say it's almost like we've seen this movie before. Because the party was evicted out of their place. They went and found somewhere else to rent. They were able to come and march into history. So I mean, this today the event.
So Michael, you are saying this is not a big deal. It's happened before.
There's not a big deal.
Okay.
There's not a big deal.
I don't think the new progressive commentator we agree with you here. Dr. Clarence Pearson, I'm asking the same question as for you to conclude on this. Does it make the Unity Party look strong as a party that is about enforcing the law, or does it make it look bad? Or does it make CDC, does it energize CDC? And what can CDC do now? What can be a better response from the CDC?
Thank you, Anthony. Look, let me say this, right? Unity Party has given CDC additional currency, political currency. When Unity Party propaganda machinery emphasize the level of so-called bad governance and of the CDC, and levy a lot of accusations against the CDC, and trumpeted the need for audit. A lot of people cry for audit to validate those accusations, and they fail to have those audits conducted properly, and people prosecuted for what they claim they have done. They gave CDC currency. That's why got CDC today still having a voice. Now, they mentioned that they keep more mature, more ready to lead the country, more reconciliatory, more forward-looking when it comes to healing the country, calling for prayers and all that kind of stuff. And then you come out not mediating the conflict. Anthony Freeman understands clearly, even at the courts, they got mediation before you even go to some prosecutions. Some cases you carry to court, they will say you're not happy, y'all go sit in the back there, y'all mediate this thing. If it can be resolved, then y'all go home. If it cannot be resolved, y'all come to court. I understand that the party headquarters of CDC has been a long-standing issue within family discord and CDC as a tenant. I agree. I know the court has ruled in favor of the. Why is the government so presently involved in this situation that they have gone to the point where they got symbolic political representation of trying to destroy a leading opposition voice in the country? That is a currency. And I side with Mr. Padmore. If CDC erects right now the party headquarters out of this situation, there is nothing that's going to take CDC out of the heart of the very people that we envy enough to say that it shouldn't be behind CDC to begin with. The CDC that we see is love for George Manuel Weah. You take George Manuel Weah out of CDC, you do not have a CDC. All people see today from this demolition is President Boakai ungratefulness, having been resuscitated from his dying political career back into office, and come back with paying back with something that does not represent is the African tradition of reconciliation. This is a currency of the CDC. And I hope that my political leader will join CDC, and then we'll make a formidable opposition for this Unity Party to get kicked out of the government.
Please clarify that. Who is your political leader and what you're talking about?
We can come this evening. We'll be on air.
All right. The debate is today between Dr. Clarence Pearson and Dr. George Y. Williams. The topic, Cummings presidential pathway. Does he have it or does he not? Other Dr. Clarence says he has, and it's even wide open. Whereas Dr. George Y. Williams says zero path for Cummings. That debate will be on Focus on Liberia, 7 p.m. Eastern time. You don't want to miss it. Close us on this, Anthony Wonder Freeman. What is your legal advice to CDC now this has happened? Looking at this thing happened to Unity Party before. Unity Party said, well, we're not going to fight. We're going to get a new place. And then, like Michael said, they march into history. They are in power today, and they think they found their teeth, and they are biting their opponent here. What should CDC do? What is your legal fight? You are a political mind too. So also, what advice do you have for the CDC politics? I know the CDC is not your friend. They are not my friend as well. Go ahead. You are muted, Colonel. Please unmute.
The best I can say to Liberians, if you want a society that is civilized, the law is what makes society civilized. The law punishes the wrongdoers and gives benefits to the law-abiding citizen. And punishment is not good when to the person who is receiving it, but it's good for the society. When you discipline your child, for example, it's painful to the child, but it's good for you, it's good for society. So the scenes look ugly because of the demolition and the fighting, but it is important that you cannot use your power to force yourself on another person's property. So my advice to CDC, though I doubt they will take it, is to be a law-abiding institution and allow the law to take its course. We remember when they were in party, they persecuted Brani Samoka, they persecuted the former Chief Justice, they persecuted other VIP. It was not fun. Other people complained and they said the law was taking its natural course. So why is it now that when they are being evicted, they are making a lot of noise? You know, but I mean, they could choose to take the advice, but I tell you what, for Liberia to develop, we must understand that when the law is taking its course, some people will be victimized. Let's accept that. That is how a nation is built.
Thank you. On that note, we will go to our next topic on the menu here, which is Government of Liberia trip to Japan. The Government of Liberia under President Joseph Boakai, Dr. Boakai, by the way, is attending the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development and Business Expo 2025. Reports that we gather say the delegation is reportedly about 23 to 40 officials of government, including personal staff, costing the taxpayer thousands of dollars. And we don't know the total cost of the trip. And others are asking, people who believe in transparency are asking, but why is the government of President Boakai not even telling us how much this trip is costing government? And this is something the Unity Party criticized. I really want to see when a government is making this kind of trip, they should release the budget. How much is costing them? How many person going? How much is spending on each person? Plane ticket per down, transportation. I really want to see that. This is transparency. And the Unity Party cry about this, and we don't see that. Now, there's so much politics around this trip. Councillor Tiawon Gonglo calls this legalized theft. And the lawyer here will explain to us, how can this be legal and how can they be a theft? He will explain to us. I don't know, does Tiawon have a point here? Or this is just harsh criticism? Now, another person who campaigned for the Unity Party is Martin Colley, who took the name Rescue Rambo. He called this public waste and turned the Unity Party as hypocritical. Are the cost and benefit analysis, or do the cost and benefit analysis favor the short and long term? We want to know. So let's come to the panelists here. Gentlemen, I just put all the media for you to chew on it. Let me start with our political mind here, Dr. Clarence Pearson. This trip here, there's a lot of talk about it. I put the meat in front of you. I mean, chew as a politician. Let me hear you here.
Thank you, Anthony. Look, we should be clear here that Liberia does need all the help it can get, right, to take us to another level. Again, the issue is how we go about it is what giving us a problem, and because we do not have the kind of leadership that it takes to yield the results that we want to get. Majority of the things we do, we call it, you do it first and you make mistake, you come back again, try again, kind of a leadership, which is wrong and bad for Liberia. So why would we want to be saying back home in the country that the first quarter of our national envelope revenue collection fell short? Why we want to be saying that USAID has left and we have a gap in our national budget in terms of funding sources? Why would we be saying that second quarter barely made it over and then we had to inject 9.9 million as transit revenue, which means that revenue in here yet, but it's a transit revenue. You put it in the financial report at Ministry of Finance and Development Planning and say we had an excess of revenue of $11 million when 9.9 is transit. Me in your hand yet. It's not guaranteed. And then you're telling the people that the hardship is increasing in the country. But you're not doing those things that will help them relieve their burden. Then they see you now pick up, carry a huge number of delegation out of the country with DSA and benefits to do a job that 10 persons can do in ably representing our country. I feel what it does is that it gives a mixed signal to our partners out there, and then it sends a misinformation to our public who are back home. And they are like, wait a minute. Are we really looking for money? Or do we really have the money, but there are a few people who benefiting from this money, only to come back from that trip and bid a house, or put zinc or finish the zinc project they got, or maybe buy a new car? What is the essence of 40 people going on a foreign trip when the country is in dire straits? Where is the austerity measures? Where is it? So at some point in time, we have to balance out what we're saying so that it matches our actions in governance. If not, this is just a public show, and it's embarrassing and it's very sad for our country. And I will stop there.
And Dr. Pearson, before you go, one of the officials on the delegation is Ambassador Chris Onungwa. I believe he is the special presidential envoy to the president on tourism. He said to this criticism that why people actually thinking, I'm paraphrasing him here, that we are attending, an international business expo. This is about investment in Africa, and it is about so many sectors. And I think he's right, because I read the document that is, investment opportunity or trade discussion on almost every sector you can think about. So he's arguing that, look, we cannot be going to an event where we have different sectors, almost all the sectors that are critical to our national development being discussed, and we just carry few people. All right, so we have to carry as many people as possible, because there are several different meetings and conferences going on. We can't have two persons running from this conference to the other conference. That is his argument. What you make of that? I think he has a point here.
No, he should be fired. He should be fired. And let me tell you why he should be fired. He should be fired because he doesn't know that we have our embassies and our diplomatic team out there. He should be fired because he doesn't know that these businesses and these bargainings and these negotiations is not on a single day event. He should be fired because he doesn't know that you can have an able representation of 10 persons following up on prior conversation before that meeting even happened. So you're not going there. If you want to kill a bird on the farm, you don't throw rack at the 100 birds that are flying. You throw rack at a particular bird you want to kill. What is it that we want to get out of the conference? How did we pre-arrange our trip so that we target those things that we wanted to deliver on before going on the trip? How are our ambassadors and consulate general engaged with this conversation? Who in the private sector that we collaborated with that will not only show a political face but show a private, a public-private partnership, coalition, a partnership to draw in the investors' interest? What is it? Politicians don't open tourism centers. Majority of the international bad that you go to other places, you see good tourism attraction that individual citizens who have made the places very attractive. Whether it is an attractive hotel, whether it's a reservation or things like that. The other places you see, maybe it'll just be your park or a reservation out of the Sound National Park and other places. So what is the collaborative effort? We need to see those planes in action. So he should be dismissed. Look, that guy does not even deserve that job. Let me tell you, that one who can read every day. He doesn't even deserve that job. He doesn't know exactly what he's doing at all.
All right. James, let me come to you. This trip, for some reason, has been wildly criticized. There's a lot of talk about it. You are a journalist in Liberia working with Kia. What are some of the things you've been hearing? The one that is actually, myself, I'm concerned about is why is it that there's no transparency on the budget, the cost? Every time a government travels, the government does not tell the people. We implore these people, they should be telling us the cost of these trips with this huge delegation. Is that something that concerns you, that you want to see transparency and other things that others are saying that you're hearing as a reporter and a journalist?
Yeah, so thank you very much. I think transparency and accountability is something that every Liberian would love to see our government do, because it is something that erases all charges, suspicion, or allegations of corruption and other things. But what I would say is that this thing is like business as usual, because you can be a government that comes to power and promise people not to do business as usual, and then you start to do the same old things that you criticize, or that things that we're seeing as something very, very bad in corruption, but then you come back to do the same old things. So just on Thursday at the MICAT regular press briefing, one of the questions that were asked by journalists is that why, who sponsored the trip, and can the government disclose the total amount that is being used on the trip? The Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs stated that day that the trip is being partially sponsored by the government, and then another portion of the trip is being sponsored by the Japanese government. So I'll break it down. The export, according to him, is being sponsored by the government, and then the TICAC 9 conference is being sponsored by the Japanese government, according to him. Then the question about how much the government used for those who are traveling on the trip, especially for the export 2025, he said that different ministries and agencies have their own budget to sponsor their own people. So then he cannot disclose how much the government used in total, except if they come back and gather the figures from different ministries or agencies. So if you look at that, analyze it, it tells you that either there's a lack of coordination between the government ministries and agencies, or there's some discrepancy that they do not want to disclose, for which they fail to announce the amount. For God in heaven's sake, the whatever money that's being used on those trips, right, are taxpayers' money. And Liberians deserve to know how much the government is spending on the trip. Now, let's take it for another trend, right? Okay, Liberians agree that assume you use 500,000 on the trip. Now you go to the trip, what are you bringing back to Liberians? That's another question. We just saw on the president of Ghana page that Ghana has won or secured 100 million within a 4-year span for development in the country from that same conference. What is our government coming back with? Since you cannot disclose how much you are taking, or how much you are using from the budget on that trip, now what are you bringing? What benefit Liberians are supposed to get from the trip? The president is supposed to come back today. The executive mansion just announced that the president will be in the country today. Now, what good news is he bringing? Is it just a normal MOU that they are going to be signing, or say, oh, the Japanese government pledged to support Liberia, or continue to support Liberia, strengthening ties, bilateral relationship? Those are normal things we hear on trips. But the thing is, what benefit, the financial benefit, development benefit, infrastructure benefit, what Liberians are supposed to see? We are yet to hear from that. So, I mean, it baffles me to see.
James, what do you mean by normal MOUs?
So when I say normal MOU, like the government last year, the government attended a conference, the Chinese African Summit, right? they came out with the MOU. They signed an MOU to do some development in Grand Bassa, and they signed MOU for so many things. So it has become a normal thing for government. Even the past government, right? They've been signing MOU. But so when I say it's a normal thing, I mean government in the past and now they continue to sign MOU with people. Now Liberians want to move from just signing MOU to tangibles, to hearing that, oh, okay, this company from this foreign land wants to develop the maybe the environmental sector or the climate change sector or maybe the educational sector in our country. Since you said withdraw from supporting all Trump policy on foreign aid, what has been that significant development or investment in Liberia's educational sector to fill that gap? Nothing has been done. So when I said MOU, that's what I mean. Government go, government come. They just continue to sign MOU and bring. We pledge support. We continue to support. We continue our support, bilateral relationship and things like that.
All right, James. Then, going in. So, here's my take on this whole traveling thing, and I'll give you the opportunity to give your own take. Look, traveling has never helped us. It will not help us, and our government must stop traveling. Our government must stop. You can't be complaining that you don't have money, and then you are traveling lavishly. And you are and because they know that the amounts that they are spending on these trips are huge, they don't even have the bravery to disclose how much they are spending on these trips. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf will come to power. She became an iconic super political star in the world. Liberia captured the attention of the whole world. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf could be at the White House any day. She will be in America any day. We have the United Nations missions here. All the donor partners were here. And Ellen was traveling. United Party spent 12 years in power. That United Party left power. They rode from RIA to the city, Monrovia. It stayed dark after 12 years. Yet, Ellen traveled. The airport that we have today, that little terminal, we didn't get it because they travel. It's because the government of China decided to help. A phone call could pull it off. A Zoom meeting could pull it off. And you could save several thousands of dollars. What has this travel or traveling given us? President Weah came, he traveled, and he left. That RIA road is still dark, no lights on that road. The money that's being used on these travels, maybe it could light up the highway with solar panels and things like that. You can't be crying for money. Now, as we speak, professors at the University of Liberia have not taken pay, according to reports. So I am not a fan because this traveling is more so to beg. I want a government that travels to Grand Cru. I want a president that travels to Riverside and talk to the people and motivate them and tell them how we can get back to the soil to grow food, how we can support our people to get back to the soil. I want us to be able to procure our own yellow machines and make sure the roads are paved without traveling to China or America or anywhere. And the sad thing is that when our government officials are traveling, they go with no plan. For example, we have our president show up to the White House and say, Mr. Trump, just come and can inspect our minerals. Did he go with plan? Was that a plan to go and tell the president of America, come and inspect our minerals? Does he not know the issues that we have? Did he not go with a plan to articulate? All of these travelings are completely useless because the thing is that if you don't project yourself that you are serious about national development, about national renewal, about empowering your own people, the very people you go to will not take you serious. When the people see that you're putting your horse in order, they will come and do better. I'm not sure Paul Kagame is traveling. I'm not sure or Thomas Sankara was traveling when he changed the story of Burkina Faso. I'm not sure Traoré is traveling as our president is doing when he's changing the story of Burkina Faso. I don't think traveling is doing that. Domestic policies, doing that. Putting your people first, doing that. Counting all your own natural resources and negotiating better deals for your people. That is why changing the story of Burkina Faso. It's not traveling. Konyene, I gave you the time.
I guess you have said most of what I'm supposed to say.
you are a representative
But
from
yeah,
okay, NTR, go ahead.
Let me say this. Liberia
problem, the only host who can be part of the discussion, but the host are
Liberia problem is way bigger than foreign travel. Let's start with the mentality issue. Who built China?
Chinese.
Who built Japan?
Japanese.
Why Liberian people always believe that the development of Liberia is going to come from China, is going to come from Japan, is going to come from Europe, is going to come from America? Why? This is a mentality issue. Even Liberians who claim to be educated and sophisticated still believe that somehow the development of Liberia will come from overseas. This is a terribly backward mentality. Even educated Liberians are in the process of allowing the people to think that way. You will get it from here, you go to Europe, America, Japan. None of those countries will build Liberia. Only Liberians utilizing Liberian resources wisely. That is how Liberia will develop. Putting 50 people in the plane and going to another country is a meaningless exercise because that's not how a country is developed. Let's look at the finances of the government. We're supposed to fund education, health, social welfare, infrastructure, but that's not what we're spending our money on. Our overall budget is 880 million. Just the government alone, the VIP, they consume about 45% of that money on public administration and municipal government, just government activities. The other part of it, salaries, the size of the government. So by the time you get through with that, there is no money for the average citizens to access services like healthcare, like infrastructure, like education, public services. And the longer you do that, and then you believe that, oh, the Chinese got money, let's go to the Chinese, and also they will give us a town hall, or let's go to the Chinese, so they will fund agriculture. We've been doing that for the past 50, 100 years. It hasn't worked because no foreign national is going to build another country. That is the fundamental problem in Liberia. We don't do that. We allow corruption to run away. People just take money, go with it, and then they are free to go. And then we believe that. So for me, it's a meaningless talk to say, oh, let's get on a plane. Even government, you can put even the entire cabinet on a plane and go to a foreign country. That is not how a country is developed. But will they change? I don't believe so. I believe the CDC and the UP, they are a national disaster. None of those two parties are ever going to, because they don't think differently. We did the same thing. He put 50, 100 people on plane. Under we had the lowest amount of foreign investment in the country, even lower than the interim government. Lower than the interim government. The salary issue, we can address it. For example, I did a study. The salary of our senators, representatives, and national executive is 19,220 times the average GDP. 19,000. If I put the same figure for China, it's like 52, the 52%. If I put the same figure for Indonesia, it's like 400%, but Liberia is 19,299% more than the average GDP. What I'm saying, the salary in Liberia is out of order.
You said average GDP. Wait, you said average GDP or average minimum salary? Which one?
The ratio of the salary to the average annual GDP. Meaning, you take the salary of the senator, right? And do a ratio to the average GDP in Liberia. If the senator is making 150,000 and the average GDP is $800, what is the percentage?
Average GDP?
Not the average gross domestic product per person, GDP per person. That's what I mean.
Okay, but that's per capita.
Per capita, that's what I mean. Per capita, yeah.
You know, when you're talking to people who know economics, when you throw words out there that don't.
Okay, let me break it down. Right? The ratio of the salary of the VIP in government to the average amount of money every Liberian will earn if you have divided the money equally. It is almost 20,000%. That is what is killing Liberia. And you can solve it even with an executive order. But every day you put we are there, he take bath in the morning, you move it, he put what the other people need, UP there, they take bath in the morning, and then they go, they put 100% on the plane. That is a backward mentality.
You know, what they call we are and UP? Are you saying we are and President Boaka, or you saying we are?
CDC will be an institution, so I just say we are. I could say CDC, but we are is no different from CDC. CDC is a court of we are. So they're not institution. So I don't need to say CDC. Once I say we are, it's synonymous with CDC. It's not a party.
Unity Party is an institution?
Well, partially. But with CDC, that's just
what's the difference you see? Why you think Unity Party is partially an institution and CDC is the court?
Well, I think if you move Boaka, Unity Party can partially survive. But I think if you remove we are from CDC, you can go to bed and wake up the next morning, there will be no such thing as CDC.
So in essence, you are saying that a court, when a leader is not there, that court dies? Is that what it is?
It dies completely.
I disagree. Then you don't follow courts.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Never mind. Maybe I will stay with economics and law. But the point I'm making, right?
Yeah.
You can have an executive order and rein in the executive salary. You can pass a law and establish an independent commission on salaries that will set the salary for everybody in government.
All right.
It is something that can be done simply. But neither the CDC nor the UP are interested in doing that. They are interested in maintaining their salaries. They are interested in this 50% delegation. And they are convincing Liberia that the money that needed to build Liberia is in Japan. The money that will build Liberia is in Beijing, is in Brussels, is in New York. Keep doing that. You will fool yourself for the next 100 years. Liberia will never be built.
Thank you, gentlemen. Because of time, we'll go to the phone lines quickly. James, please come back on the camera and let us call. To those of you listening on the radio, if you want to join the discussion, the phone numbers are here. I'm going to call the numbers quickly. 0777 959 959. Again, 0777 959 959. For the Lone Star, 0881 871 670. Again, 0881 871 679.
I think somebody's on the line. Somebody's here. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Chief.
Your name, where do you call from? Okay, I think he's not getting up. Good afternoon. Welcome. Oh, okay. So let's see. 0779. Okay. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Your name, where do you call from? Your name, where do you call from?
I said my name is Prince Fatima.
Okay, go ahead, please, Prince.
I phone from District 4 FBA at the Muhammad Gandhi Intellectual Center.
Okay, please go ahead.
Well, thank you all so much for your fascinating talking this afternoon.
Okay.
Well, firstly, let me appreciate the Liberian National Police and the Supreme Court for the former man which they handle the eviction of CDC today. Because we heard from CDC that from the youth league that they wanted to resist the eviction today. So as we have everything went smoothly, I think it is something that should be appreciated because they have the tendency of carrying our
okay, we don't have the luxurious of time. Thank you so kindly. Let's take another person. Welcome. 30 seconds, please.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Your name, where do you call from?
Yes,
okay, please go ahead.
My brother, you know, Nigeria is a country with a very small population, a thing of injustice. And our people in leadership doesn't care for the ordinary human being, but only care for themselves. Today, this person will try, this party will try, that this other person is not doing the right thing. We want to get there to do worse than that of the other party. This is a country of culture of unity. Until we can realize this is raising things around, getting back to our days of old, and looking at other countries that is developed today and is developing, realize we'll go nowhere.
Okay, thank you. 077-959-959, 0881871871670. Let's hear from you. 077-959-959, 077-959-959, 08818716770. Welcome, good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Your name, where do you call from?
This is Nathan Abenigo. I come from Congo Town.
Okay, quickly, please go ahead. 30 seconds.
Okay. Thank to your panelists. Look, for the Eviction Of CDC, we have no problem with the CDC to move ahead.
Okay.
That sport doesn't make CDC. With the citizen, we make all the party. So that our fanatic and factor of belief of the parties will move on. We have no problem.
Okay.
We are not government. Government, they don't have the equal ability to do what they wish to do. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Let's get another person. Welcome. You're live. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello.
Your name, where do you call from?
Yeah, my name is Solomon Mu. I call from down Rana Street.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to that men have said that CDC is not a party. If you look at the CDC in the United Party, when people and they want a friend. CDC ruled for 12 years. And after that 12 years, you have no electricity, no stable electricity, no stable power water, no food. They are ruled about still 18 years. And CDC are ruled for 6 years. So look at what CDC has done in 6 years and look at what the party is doing in 18 years. So if you want to switch in the policy, do not look on one side to say that only we are after we are there is no party.
Thank you so kindly. Thank you.
We the citizens, we are the party. So I don't want to let.
Thank you, sir. We don't have time. We can take one call at least to squeeze it in for 30 seconds. 077-959-959, 077-959-959, 0881. This is the last caller. Welcome. You're the last caller. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I'm Moses calling from Mata.
Okay, 30 seconds.
Thank
please.
you for it. Thank you for you know, like when we get into the mighty God, by you saying demolishing CDC party headquarters, it means that CDC are dissolved completely. No. But we can tell God, thank you, that you're going to see the same water you can waste on your back, you can also waste on another person's back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so kindly. That was very short and succinct. I think it's back to you, Mr. C.
Thank you, Mr. Walker, James, Dad. Gentlemen, let's close. We have 2 minutes. And Jimmy, your 20 seconds closing.
Okay, I will just touch the last issue since I never spoke it.
Yeah, please.
These trade shows and whatnot can be good. Do you know there was an expo there? That was an excellent opportunity for Liberia to build their own pavilion, you know, and display the tourism, the things that the Liberia have to offer. Did we do that? So if we do not make proper preparations, or even the delegates, there should be months and months of preparation and a strategy around how we want to see a development. We should have a development plan, and all that strategy should align with the plan. What I'm seeing is we're doing things in an ad hoc way. We're making fundamental planning to develop. Development doesn't happen to our build road. No, after build road, you have to also think about what is going to accompany that road.
Thank you. Thank you, Jermaine. Konyanen, 20 seconds, and I mean 20 seconds, please.
Well, I just want to say that enforcing laws is not something that is pleasant. It's pleasing to people, but it must be done if a country is supposed to be stable and developed. So it's not about CDC or UP, but the order from the court must be obeyed and it must be enforced, irrespective of who is at the receiving end. On the economy, Liberia's biggest problem is the overspending in government, on administration, on presidential, on VIP, on foreign travel, and then expecting
and covert
operation. That's where we spend money. Then we expect that when it comes to development, we should go to New York, we should go to Brussels, we should go to Tokyo, we should go to Beijing. That where we get money from for development.
MCC.
It will not work. We have been doing it for the past 50 years. It will not work. If you change, it will work. But I don't see any change coming out of WIA, and I don't see any change coming out of UP. I stand by my statement that CDC is not a party. It is a WIA court.
Thank you.
And the people who are remaining there now are just courtists of WIA.
Yeah, thank you. Dr. Pearson.
Thank you, Anthony. I think we should try as much as we can to reduce the level of politics in everything we're doing in Liberia when it comes to governance. We should be very careful to note our history and where we're coming from and what we're trying to heal and get past as a nation. We cannot keep going back doing the same thing and expecting different results, as Alexander Cummings was saying. And let me just close by saying this. I think CDC should move on. I think this is a done deal. The damage has been done. Let them recoup and use it for political capital and gain currency on the expense of the situation. And when it comes to the foreign travels, listen, we have our foreign diplomats away. We have our embassies, friends here in our country. Let us be a continual engagement. Let us reduce the number of people that travel. Let us be strategic about what we want and go for things that we can achieve and not just for the show of it and for few persons to get some benefits temporarily and the rest of the people suffer in the long term. Thank you very much for having me today.
On that note, we close with a song that says, "We are all Liberians," and do not miss the much anticipated debate today between Dr. Clarence Aaron Pearson and Dr. George Y. Williams on Focus on Liberia. I will be moderating. The topic, Cummings presidential pathway. Does he have it? 7 p.m. Eastern time. Do not miss the much anticipated debate. Dr. Clarence Pearson believes that Cummings has a pathway to the presidency 2029 and even way beyond 2029. And Dr. George Y. Williams says, oh no, he doesn't have it. Don't miss it. I will be right here to moderate. Enjoy the song. We are all Liberians, and bye-bye.
We are Liberia. Liberia is our home.